she a tease cat? Would you rather be a tease cat or a polecat?
I'd be a polecat. I would be a fishbowl.
Oh, watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Look, the thing will make you. Look at that thing. It's going to pop, 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 pop. See it? Look at it. See what? What, your dad? Oh, your mama. Oh. That little one, is that other one your sister? Oh. You about run over me. You want to get in that? He knows how.
Don't let him ruin the flowers, Grandpa.
He knows how. You had to steal my hole.
Hey, there's Grandma's flowers.
What you doing?
Nothing, Grandpa.
Does that take sound too?
Sure does. Keep playing, Grandpa.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
We came to hear the music. No. Play a song.
Play your favorite one.
What?
Play your favorite one.
Play my fingers.
Play
Your favorite song. The song you like the most.
Oh, I don't know what one. I don't know any songs. Oh. Oh dear.
You're doing good. So how old are you now, Grandpa?
Huh?
How old are you now?
Oh, nearly 100. Let's see, I'll be 90 in, what, 2 more years? Huh?
Let's hear from the expert. Grandma, how old is he?
88.
88? So he will be 90 in 2 years.
88.
How have you put up with him
88.
this long, Grandma?
What?
How long have you
got
put
eight
up with him
twice.
this long? No comment?
Skunks hurt me the worst.
I just need to tell her and go into the end.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Then, long as I endure to the end and finish with the start.
Is that what it is? I'll go home and put that on my wall. Not bad advice, though. Do you like the camera on you?
Imagine I look so pretty.
Hey, don't go leave us. Don't go leave us. You might cry. Will you give me a cracker?
Give him a whole roll, Rachel.
Huh? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. You're not hungry, are you?
Take you to go get home. 4 or 5 hours?
Oh, you can have them.
No, she's gonna share. Yeah, 3.5, 4 hours. Probably 3.5.
Thank you. Oh, I can't open it. And we can't eat that much.
Yeah, they can.
No, we don't want that much. That'd make it so we couldn't have breakfast.
They
You
can have it for
it.
lunch tomorrow.
You can have it.
She wants you to take some.
She brought him in for you, Grandpa. Grandma and Grandpa on their 60th wedding anniversary.
Oh, you can share it if you want.
Can I give your grandma part of this
Wedding
one? You
anniversary.
need that. I'll give-
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Sticker on, yeah.
How you doing?
What? Wear it, yeah.
Do you want a sticker, Chesley?
Let's get one for you. Should we get one for you? Okay.
You could have a nap right now. Now, Amy and you and got any tape?
And Keenan.
I'm already paid, Mom.
Mom, what you doing? Bye, Mom.
Bye, Michael.
In Utah, you want to go up? He got released.
I didn't bring any water.
No, neither did I. We're just silly. Tina, do you remember climbing here before?
Yes, I do.
Rachel, come back on this side.
Oh, stay there a minute, right? No, here. Help me out.
Both sides. Okay, go, Justin.
Who needs a hand?
We used to burn the V when we played Canal. Tires in a V there, and we'd burn them, and there'd be a V burning the night we played Canal. Okay, Nana Gail, what am I going to do? Oh, okay.
That's what I think. No,
Oh, like.
Hurry up, Moyne, Dad, over here. Somebody else wants to play.
We're not moving along very fast, are we? I'm tired.
Yeah, he just won them all.
I don't think I ever got that far. You know, recess is only 20 minutes.
We played all morning.
I guess we did more than the schoolwork.
Well, you said playing up on the hill. How long did we stay up on the hill?
Do they still go up to 2 rocks? Kids still go up
Two big rocks. We come from the other side when we come off at 2 rocks.
Now this is the clay where you can also make mud horses, isn't it, right here?
That, we call that, that's a clay hill.
Oh, is that the clay over there?
Well, how are you?
Who is it? Is it Colleen and Mark?
No, it's Smokey and Dorothy.
Oh,
This is where Frederick lives.
And I don't know who. Oh, it says Robert.
Robert Henderson. Bears used to live there, or Mercy's.
Right there. This is where I grew up.
Daughter Rochelle lives there.
Did you see this?
Yeah, that's
Wow, all the trees are really grown up.
See, Bessie, you see this house up here?
I got some pending now.
We're gonna come in here later.
I didn't
Yeah, we'll
realize
come
that
in.
yard even had weeds until
Are you staying down
it
tonight
got
or going
sold.
back to the...
And this is Uncle Chris and Aunt Elle's home right
Oh,
here.
no, you'll fall. Bessie, here. Should we put your shoe on? You want to sit on Bessie's lap?
Okay.
You can sit on Uncle Bessie's lap.
Oh, we're on State Street.
Man, I'm in.
Is that State Street?
Yeah, State. Well, we're on 100 West. State Street's going the other way.
Where's one street?
I have it. You want to put down?
Uncle Lawrence's house is right there, but it's not there.
The shed's still there.
Okay,
What's
talk
that,
about
a
the old
tree
post
house? What
office.
are the steps for? Is that a tree house thing?
Perfect. You got that's the old post office where Grandma that's gonna work. Good.
Gray's heating pump right there.
The
Good.
corner boutique. Who runs the corner
This is
boutique?
Lamb's. This is where Pinky and Frank Lamb.
Want me to hold on? Yeah.
This is Benny Swanson. That's where you live. His good friend. They're hoisting. We used to hoist the radiator.
The old post office looks different.
Then you got Grandma's house. Tina.
And Gracie's house and the
One
old
of
post
those.
office.
You just can't see the old house. It's like the new piece. All your
Except for I think
grandparents,
one.
all your great-grandparents.
And
A
all
lot
your
of dead
great-great-grandparents.
people.
I think last time I heard you decided that every single one of our
White Rock
grandparents,
test
great-grandparents were buried here except for one.
Yeah, and he's in Nepal.
Yeah. Do you know that, Bessie? Every one of my grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents are buried in here, except for one that's buried in Nephi. They're all buried in here.
Bessie, do you know why they put fences around cemeteries? Because people are just dying to get in.
I can't remember, it was only two of them. He said, did you know that Moses was the first Mormon missionary?
I didn't know that.
Didn't you know that? He went through the MTC.
Oh.
MTC.
Oh, the MTC. You got it quicker than I did.
Have you ever
Brother's
gone to
home
the
out here in Glendale.
It used to be sheds so you could climb in it. But we got to pull it down.
Flew. They go slough. And they swim.
Oh, you go swimming?
There.
Is that where you learn to swim?
Well, there's no, that's where we swim.
Yell Ida Marie and she'll come outside. No. Is that Ida Marie? That's Ida Marie's house. There's Bess Brooksby's home.
That's Brooksby's home. Chamber's over there. That was her name. Margaret Ann.
Oh, Brooksby. Oh,
Jack Carroll.
all before Clyde and Marina got there. It was, I can't think what Karen's name was.
Don't get thrown out, guys. What, honey?
Go! Go! Wonder what authentic Indian handcraft is.
That home right there. Oh, that's Henry Espen's home.
Okay, I remember him.
That's his dad's home is named Henry too.
Oh.
That's where he was raised. He jumped out.
And this is
Oh yeah.
Aunt Amy's home right here. Aunt Amy
There's another aunt right here facing down that way.
And what would you do?
We'd go through it in the dark, you know. And there was rocks.
scary.
We'd go through enough. We knew where the rocks were. We used to have horse races. Remember that on the 4th, 24th, had horse races down the street? That's Sand Street. We'd have horse races. We'd have horse races. Remember Tim Hoyt used to have horse races down the Hurricane? Remember he raced his. I remember going over and getting his horses over in our trail after the races. And that's where the races were. We ought to be taking pictures the other way. That'd be pretty good.
That's what we ought to do.
I don't know whether I could be.
Well, we can't.
Yeah, that'd be quite a picture, wouldn't it?
Okay, cheese it. See, that's the Chicago, they're getting different angles.
How much
Relatives because of their quiet dignity. And they were my mentors in my childhood. And I'd like to say, too, that I'm grateful to Aunt Lucy's and Uncle Lawrence's family because they've stayed in many of them right here in Orderville. Daddy died. I tried to observe Uncle Lawrence, and this was when my memories of Daddy were fresh, and I tried to see ways that they were alike and ways that they were different. And I didn't think that they looked that much alike, but I felt like that in their dispositions they were really a lot alike. And Uncle Lawrence, I always remember his twinkling eyes and his kindly manner. We have our memories of Daddy's death are stronger than our memories of his life. And I remember when after the funeral, the men that we hardly knew that came and told us how much Daddy meant to them. And they were kind of, in a way, they were society's Mustangs. They weren't the big men in town. They didn't have leadership positions in the church and in the community, but he had touched their lives. And I appreciated this about Dad, our father. And in the last conference, Bishop Merrill Bateman talked on death, and he gave some points that really, I'd pondered these a lot about Daddy's death. And one thing he was talking about a young friend, 18 years old, that had lost his life. But he said that he imagined that when this young man, after he was dead, that he probably, it was a shock to him, because when he realized he was on the other side of the veil. And I think that our father it must have been a shock to him when he realized that he was on the other side of the veil, and he must have wanted to come back and tell us goodbye and talk to us and do things like that. And then another point he brought out, and this is something that, an experience I had when in the last few weeks of Mama's life, and Verla as you remember, stayed with Mama those last, probably the last year. And I'd gone over, it must have been maybe 3 weeks before she died, but Mama had been talking about, well, ever since when Aunt Lucy died, I think it was in January, her thoughts were constantly on Aunt Lucy. And every night, Berta said that Mama wanted to look really nice because she thought she was going to die at night. And one morning when she woke up, she was crying. And she told Verla and I don't know whether Verla remembers this, she said that she couldn't get through to them. And we asked her what she was talking about, and she said that Aunt Lucy and her mother and maybe others in the family were there, but she couldn't, there were people in front of them, she couldn't get to them. And she was crying because of this. And this is one thing Elder Bateman said, that when we die, there will be close relatives, close family there to assist us in this transition, just like there are when a baby is born and comes to this earth. And then after Daddy died, I had 2 more.
I thought, really there's nothing that I could say about it, hasn't either been said or written already. Also realized that my association with my father and my memories of him as a child, I was just 14, of course, when he died, so I was, the way I look at him as a child and someone who was, of course, big and strong and kind of my hero, and I look at him as being just kind of an extra super person, partly because I guess I was so young at that time. I was thinking, sitting here just now, as Shirley was talking, and thinking of Uncle Lawrence, reminded me back how it was back when I was young in the summertime, up in the Oaks, my father and the sheep, and how close the sheepmen were up there, and especially my father and Uncle Lawrence and Tim Hoyt, and some of them close around, and at least once or twice each summer, when any one of those 3 at least would get the sheep together for the marking, the others would always come the night before to take any of their sheep that were in their herd back home. While they were in the corral, they were in the corral to walk them. They separate the other sheep out and take them home. I remember many times the man Tim, I used to love to hear him talk and tell stories, but Tim and Uncle Lawrence, my dad and others, Larry and some of the older cousins would sit around the campfire and talk about experiences. To me it seemed like way back in the pioneer days, realize now they were speaking of times just 10 or 15 years earlier, but talk about things that happened on the Arizona Strip, and about all the horses and the Mustangs and different things, and I was just fascinated with that, and I just love to hear them tell stories. I don't know whether Larry remembers, he probably doesn't, but I believe this was just, I don't know, just after the war, just before the war. Anyway, we were together like this, and Uncle Lawrence's camp was leaving, and we had a bedroll there, and I slept in a bedroll with my father, with Daddy, and with Larry, and I was in the middle. The covers were about 10 inches above me, went over from one over there, I was down in the middle. I didn't keep very warm right now either. I'll always remember that. I just made a few notes I'd like to just comment on here too. First of all, my father was a quiet man. I think probably he was noticed for that by everyone. He didn't like crowds, and he didn't say very much, especially except if you were with him alone. And of course he talked. And I realized I didn't know really an awful lot about him until some situation would come up that would give him an opportunity to let me know about him. I remember, I think it was probably in the 7th grade or maybe the 8th grade, I was getting quite interested in track, and I decided I needed to have a pair of track shoes. And I believe they cost $6 or $8. It seemed like a lot of money then. And I just knew that I could never get any. And I talked to my mother about it. She said, well, we'll have to talk to Daddy. About that time, when Dad came home and heard quite late at night. We went back the next morning. I didn't get to talk to him, but after he went gone the next day, my mom said that Daddy said we could go and get his track shoes. And that's the time when I first learned that he used to run track in high school himself. And at that time, he got quite interested in me and just talking, about the things that I could do to do better in track. I remember the last spring, just before he died, at the same time we were kind of breaking skip with our horse. And he'd be up on the track up here, and he'd ride. He was home for about a month after they came off the strip. He'd ride up on skip up here on the track and watch him work out. But that's when I first learned that he had been quite involved in track in high school. He loved animals. He took good care of them. And Uncle Lawrence was the same way. I know Uncle Lawrence always took care of his animals. My dad especially liked horses. I think he kind of had a reputation, around town here about being really good with horses. He used to break horses. I know with his sheep, but anyone, at least the older children in our family, remember how we used to make salt boxes. He has salt boxes scattered all over the range up on the oaks. And he carried the salt on his shoulder out to each of those places as the sheep came to that area, rather than just following them in one area with plenty of water. Yeah, he liked children. One really vivid memory I have that happened so many times was our old pickup going around town someplace, and the back would be clear full of kids. Any one of us and all of our friends would always be in the back of the pickup, going wherever he was going and doing whatever he was doing. Also, one or two or three or four of his children were always with him up in the summertime up on the mountain, on the opposite of the camp. He was a strong man, and he walked a lot. I can remember trying to keep up with him in the summertime in August when it seemed so hot, and I was so tired, and trying to keep up with him and walking around on the mountains up there. He liked to read. He read a lot. He took a number of different magazines, current event type magazines. He was really up on on things like the government, what was going on politically in the government and in the world. It was during the war, a lot of the time I remember. And he used to like to talk about that. Shirley was also quite interested in that, and I know Shirley and my dad always talked about current event type things.
Glenn,
yes.
Do you remember the guy who used to do the magazine from the back page to the front? Did you ever watch him do that?
I do the same thing. It must be a trait. I always start at the back.
Must be inherited. Yeah, I always remember that magazine pulled it up in his back pocket. He carried it with him when he'd be down and when he was out.
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
That must be the reason. He also read scripture. He had a set of scriptures, and I have those scriptures, and I was going to bring them up for y'all. When we kind of divided up my mother's things, we each got to choose one thing, and I chose my dad's scriptures. And the Bible is kind of got water soaked out in the sand. When he used to have the tent down in the ground with wood around it, and then the tent over the top of it. That's where he spent the winter time. And he had the Bible with scriptures, I guess kind of like the edge, and it rained and got water on these scriptures. And the writing he'd done in there with the indelible pencil, the notes and things he'd taken were kind of blurred. But he always had his scriptures with him there, and he had scriptures. He, like a lot of other men at that time, of course, didn't attend church a lot. He was gone. He just wasn't here. When I got to be 12 and was a deacon, he made it the point out in the summertime when I was with him, he used to always be here Saturday evening, and we'd go to preaching meeting and sacrament, I think, and then we'd go back out and hear it. He was a 70. He was always involved in the 70s Corps, and he always made contributions to the welfare. And like quite often he he made wool contributions for the 70s for him. I remember one time in the spring, of course he had 2 paychecks a year, one for the lambs, one for the wool. It was in the spring, he didn't have the wool money yet. Their checkbook was getting kind of low, and the church, there was some contribution they wanted. And I remember him telling my mother that he had $20 left in the checking account. I remember when he told her to write out the check for $20 to pay the contribution. And that was the last money they had in the checking account. I thought a lot about Dad's relationship with his children. I know some of the younger ones in our family kind of feel cheated because they feel like they missed out on that relationship. But I think he had a really special relationship with us, and there was something about him in his relationship with us that made us want to really do things well, the things that we did. And I remember one time hearing him say that every person should have something that they can do better than anyone else. And I think he did, somehow he instilled in us a desire to do well. I remember if he ever let me to do something and like went back to the herd and was gone, I remember wanting to do it just as good as I could so that when he's back and he was asking about it, that I could give him a good report. And like it with discipline, I know he never touched me as far as discipline. I don't think he did anyone else in our family. But I mean, he didn't scold us either. I don't think we ever reached. I remember a time or two when we'd be fussing and fighting where Lily said, I'm going to take you and put you in a penny sack and shake you up together. That's about as far as it went. But he had something about him that made us want to live our life in a way that he would be proud of us. Well, I was going to mention one thing I have at the bottom of my notes. I think he was also really very artistic. He didn't have the opportunity to develop that talent, but he used to make mud horses, and I've worked and I never could make a mud horse look anything like the ones he made. I know, I heard him say that he used to even sell those mud horses. He said his mother didn't think he should sell the mud horses. I don't know what reason, but he made really good mud horses. I remember one time he made us some that were huge, about 10 times the size that we normally made. They were about maybe a foot long and stood 6 inches high or something. And when he'd make those horses, he'd make either a thoroughbred or a quarter horse or whatever. He'd make the different breeds when he made it. And I think for him to be able to do that, he certainly had artistic abilities. And that was one way he could demonstrate that. I'd like to also thank Aunt Lawrence and his family for what they've done to make this possible. We really do enjoy being here. I wish more of our children could have been down, but I'd like to thank Holly for not even thanks.
There's somebody else.
My father, first I'd like to tell a little bit about what I remember about Uncle Lynn. We used to have our sheep up on the mountain. About the time we come to school, if I ever come down early, why I'd go up with Uncle Lynn up to his sheep herd for a few days before I went to school. And I remember I'd probably be Lloyd and Jerry and James was all there. I remember down in Bob Creek one time and we was going out to where the sheep were, and I know I sure had to run and jump over them old sage bushes to keep up with him. And I remember one time when he come up to our camp, he was camped down at Bob Creek, and we were up in the head of Willow, and it was dark when he got up there, and he had a sack of salt on his shoulder when he got there. Well, he come and ate supper with us, and him and my dad visited till way after dark, and he took off a foot and went clear back down to Bob Creek, and it was so dark you couldn't even see. I don't know how he made it down through there, but and they tell me that he said that I would make a good warrior because I was so poker-faced. I don't remember him saying that, but I remember my family telling that. But as I've been thinking about some of the things about my father and the other people that was livestock people at that time, it always amazed me how much these guys knew about livestock and the things that they were doing. My dad, it seemed like, knew where every place in this whole country was. He knew who run sheep there and who run cattle here from the Arizona Strip clear up on Cedar Mountain. And I couldn't imagine how he could remember all that. And especially now, I can't remember anything, and he always could remember all these things. And when he done something, we went out to build fence or something, he was really particular. He wasn't always in a hurry to get things done like we are today, but we had to do a good job at doing the things. We crowbar on a post hole all day if we needed to. And nowadays, we've never built a fence if we had to crowbar a hole like that. And as I go out we've been working out in some of the sheep range up here on Cedar Mountain and out in the Oaks, and you see all these old fences and old wagon roads that them guys took, and in the places that they went to cut posts and to string that wire up where them hills by hand, and the old loggers, how far up on these old steep side hills they got, where we can't even get with the equipment we have now. They went up there and got logs and cut posts, and we was up there hunting the line up in the Orderville Gulch the other day, and these fences went up where these old steep rocky hills, and the posts were still standing in them holes. The wire's all gone, but the posts are still standing in them holes. And you think about the difference in the way things were now. And my father, it seemed like he knew all about any kind of livestock, sheep, cattle, horses. He knew how to handle them, and I learned a lot from him. I remember at times out in the sand, we'd go out there together the cattle in the spring. We'd be tracking cows out. They wouldn't bring their calves into water because it was far, and so we'd trail them out of water to find their calves, and we'd be trailing these cattle out there. A certain one going out to get his calf, and they'd been in there for another cow, and he could follow that track. And I couldn't tell the difference between that one and one a week old. They just all intermingled, and he could follow that cow track and find her and her calves. And I finally got to be pretty good at it. I even done it so much on one horse that I could go to sleep and he'd follow the cow track, smelling the brush and the tracks. And my dad also liked to read. He always took the Newsweek magazine. And when he got the sheep herd, he done like Uncle Lynn. He had this magazine in his hind pocket, and when he'd stop to rest, out would come the magazine, and he'd read some of the magazine. And I remember the old radio we had in the sheep herd. We'd turn on every night. We couldn't listen very much because he just had the old battery-type radios, and he'd always listen to the news and one program, and it was Edward R. Murrow and the news, and we listened to the Whistler. It was kind of a spooky program that was on the radio, and every night we'd listen to them two programs. Couldn't afford new batteries, so we didn't listen to the radio very much, but as my father got older, it amazed me how he could remember so much and how he could read. I get to read now and I can't see. My eyes go blurry and I can't read, and he could always remember people's names. And another thing I remember about him, as I think about this, is how I never heard him say bad things about other people, even though sometimes I know that they felt like that they'd been took advantage of, and yet they had Uncle Lynn was the same way. They never said bad things about anyone that I can remember. And, I don't know what else to say. Give this to somebody else and let them talk on it.
You going?
Yes.
These are the very steps.
Not quite the same.
Had that reunion after.
Quite the same.
I guess it's after.
You can come and look in this window if you want to look in.
Married.
But you can't go in.
The doors are all locked.
Where's the sandbox? You can get that letter and come up in. That's the cellar.
Somebody built a floor. So you used to go downstairs into it and they put a floor up above it.
What about these round rocks, Dad?
We'll just rock these clear. See, we after they died, we put a rock wall right along here, around there, and we brought the fences out front and put it back here. When the project done.
This is where Grandpa used to live, Rachel.
I know.
Of course, this is the garden out here.
See it?
Boy, it's only been.
That's a hole.
It's only been 50 years.
Here.
You step in a hole. So stand right there and drink your water.
There's the banister. Oh. And it went up in a square around the top, didn't it?
There's the banister. I can see the banister. Aunt Jeanette had her wedding reception there.
Yes, that's what I see. It's so huge. It seems big there. Well, there were less trees.
I remember going down the well, let's go upstairs. That's the most convenient. This is the same banister, I guess.
I never got the little room. I was always in this room.
This is where Grandpa Estill slept, Granny. This was the boys' room.
Isn't this fun? This is the floor. But the ceilings, don't you love that? They had brass beds.
Your dad was saying that they had a little tiny closet in the corner.
Uh-huh.
We added this more of the closets.
I'll bet they are. I don't remember these windows being on the floor.
Yeah, they were. Hang on. That's why Brent says, why are they so low?
And then I says, you don't remember because you were shorter than me.
Anyway, I didn't close the dress. I said, otherwise they had a dress, laughed their heads off. Shirley says, one thing about it, when you forget to close the drapes, don't walk over, pull the blinds down when you're nude.
Gosh, these bedrooms were cold. They've got heat all the way up here now.
They just sunk the living room down. They must have wanted down there, didn't they? I don't know. I haven't been in here since we moved in here, but that's just what I saw.
I've been in here a couple of times.
You know, nowadays it's all the wood, stuff like that, wainscot thing.
Yeah.
It's hot in here.
That'd be it.
There's always
These are all the original ones here.
I got a close-up of that doorknob.
we can lock it from downstairs so we can.
Yeah, we can just go out and lock the door, yeah.
That's true.
Where was the closet in here?
Over there in the corner.
Oh, right there.
Over here.
Where was the junk room? Where was that
Here.
closet? Oh, that was that?
Look at the baseboard.
Oh, look at how it's fancy here. This would be so neat to have.
See all these up here? They can have them out, but downstairs they take them out all, you know. And they look at these and see what we're redoing and now start putting more in the sheet. So they've added all these down here back again. So it's done, remodeled.
What is this, Daddy? What is this, Daddy? Dad, what's this? Daddy, what's this?
Yeah.
Stairs.
How many generations?
Tell the others I've gone with Roy. Okay. There's 3. My dad and me and the kids. At Grandpa's house. Now who was you? Were you born here?
I was born in that room right there.
Oh, you were? The whole house looks lots worse than it did when he lived.
It looks like it's going to get looking better now.
Better pull the door shut. There's still people
still in there. I guess I hope they will.
But I remember having reunions and eating the white bench and eating watermelon and all the big people over. Say love you.
You gonna talk? Say love you. Do you say love you?
Our kids don't know what kind of bird they
Janes are funny. Dan, you?
No, it's human, but we teach people to read the other way. We're naturally
If that was Daddy's answer to me, that's a natural way to read a book.
It is. Yeah, but that's how I read dinosaurs back.
You find out.
Lynn, you want to take charge? You're kind of the natural.
I don't. No, go ahead. Whose color is what?
Well, I guess the first thing we need to do is, in 2 years, it'll be our turn to be in charge.
Let's postpone it for 8 years.
Nan said she started trying to arrange for this place last summer, and August was already filled up. In August. So this is kind of, do you think, or do you want to try to go to
I think
Nephi?
you get more people here, right here. Probably so.
So that's
We got some
Uncle Charles's house.
offer to do it on one of their prime spots.
We ought to make next time a mud horse time again because we missed that one.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Well, I got 3 bucks to play out there. I can't remember Daddy making that horse. He'd make them bigger than we would. I remember he made those great big ones about that long.
Yeah, let's get a chair.
And it's not going to be Shirley or Jeanette.
As long as it's Shirley or Jeanette, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
He spoke.
You can't manage things in Santa Barbara. We're too laid
Verna
back
to
down
come.
there.
Let's do the brothers. Let's have the brothers do it.
There's no difference
Okay, we
between
let the
Santa
brothers.
Barbara and Nephi.
The sisters will help.
We'll be your aides, and
We'll be your aides.
I know we can't outvote them. What can we do?
you can choose a presidency.
We can say, well, now you do this and you do this and you do
We'll have one
We're
sister
very
charging each
obedient.
type of thing.
And Verna will be the prime sister.
I know you want money. I got my checkbook.
They just put you in charge of our next reunion.
No.
You're too late to vote, sorry.
You can't vote. If I pay, I don't have to.
Carla, we put the guys in charge with you, the assistant representative. If they want us to do anything, they have to contact you.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. If you can get me to do it, you can talk to me. The Shirley John Lynn family?
Just,
Or just you?
just Shirley.
Oh, goes into your personal?
Yeah, it goes into my personal. And that,
I'll be secretary.
well, now on this reunion, is there any other? Do you have any other suggestions
Who are you
that
going
we
to
want
honor?
to make
Who
to?
are you going to honor?
The mothers tried to do a booklet, the reverse of this.
Well, we didn't do one for the
Oh,
mothers last time.
I know,
Maybe
but
we
you
should
didn't have
make
We
the
it.
didn't have a booklet. We
You
did.
can't do publications for everyone.
Oh.
Find something that want to do it themselves.
They've got a real name of that, Lucy.
Yeah, they have.
Maybe
So-
their mama, yeah.
Well, what could we kind of focus on? Just cousins or something? Or what should we
Go back
call
to
it?
the United
I
Order.
thought we'll be getting kind of close to the next generation, the future, family relations in the future.
Pull up some shade and sit down, Charles.
Well, be thinking about it.
I
We
think
should.
that should really be up to the boys,
Yeah,
because
okay,
we
let's
wouldn't
just
want to
let
make
them.
any decisions that they would be comfortable with.
Yeah.
You already have.
Well, we've gone far enough.
What date are you looking at? Are you trying to look at a date? We'll have to find a date that's agreeable to everybody.
This time of year or later?
I think this is wonderful.
June and July is the best time for me.
Sounds good to me.
I'm
You'll have
free
to have the cake.
anytime.
I am too. I'm available, you guys. Just invite me. I'm here.
I think this is sure nice.
End of June.
Yeah.
It gets in July,
There's
so
Shirley.
it's kind of hot.
How much is that supposed to be? how much do we owe? Do you have a record?
I didn't bring my checkbook, but I've got.
You let me know.
I imagine you paid, you might owe for last year and this
Probably
year.
I think I do too. I'm still behind.
Probably
I'm catching
everybody
up.
owes last year and this year, I bet. Don't they, almost
Uh-huh.
and that'd
You
be
know,
how much?
25 a year we lowered it to.
Just 25 a year.
So I'm still a year behind, but I'll catch up
okay.
sooner or
That's
later.
okay.
You're doing good, darling. We're real proud of you.
Now,
Where's that about?
that's another thing. We're considering going ahead, and as much money as I have, I'll start giving the $80 to those that are unmarried, even though maybe they'll never get married. We'll still go ahead and as the money comes in. How do you feel about that?
No, it's me.
We get charged $3 a month. Don't break it up fast, you know.
Even it's not earning money, it's using money.
Yeah, it's using money.
You know, ever since then, I've seen in the paper where they have these things advertised, no charge.
You keep separate books on it, you could lump with some other money, and then it would earn 2 or 3%. I have mine in the credit union.
You would just add it to somebody else's account. Put it in your own account where you got enough to earn money.
Oh.
You keep track separate, you could do that.
Uh-huh.
That's about all we got.
There's Chesley's shirt on. There's Chesley.
Well, what do you want to do?
As long
I
as we got dues, we're going to have a bank account.
I agree with your distributing it to those who got married, got some, just well give it to the others.
Yeah, because there's not that many left, poor dears.
Who's involved in this now? Amy?
Amy and Eddie and Melissa and Brian and Devin.
And Amy Jane.
And Amy
And
Jane.
Eddie.
Plus we have any missionaries still.
And
one,
Who?
If there is that.
I bet we'll have one more missionary.
Well, or two. Amy's thinking about it.
Is she going on?
Don't leave Amy
Wow.
out. Don't mention it to her.
You mean
Oh, yeah, and then we had Tara.
Yeah, all they
Tara
talk about
Campbell.
Tara, but Amy might too.
Your Amy said when she gets married, she's going to let her bridesmaids wear Levi's and a t-shirt. And I said, what message is going to be on the t-shirt? She said, just a plain one.
Everybody's going to wait outside the temple for her. She's going to be in there alone. She's waiting outside the temple for everybody else, and she's not waiting outside the temple anymore, and you're all waiting out for her. And that includes all the nieces and nephews that she's waiting outside the temple for. I mean, all the cousins.
Okay, so you think just go ahead and as much as we've got money for, start distributing it? And then I might have, if we have somebody go on a mission, I might have to send your bill, you know, and say, well, you owe this much.
Okay.
Okay.
What are we going to do about money for this reunion? It's going to cost money too. Remember how much
2 years
money we
from now?
spent last year?
Yeah.
They cost more than you take in.
Oh, a lot more. I mean, you take it nothing.
Yeah. We'll just have to share the
I think, how much did we all pay more last year?
We did, but we all paid dues last time, and it made it.
You also could charge more than 5. You can't.
Happen to have money
You
there.
can't hardly have a barbecue for 5.
Well, you can't even feed your family at home for $5.
Well, this was $5 a family. I know.
Well, now, and then another thing, these letters that you got, Jeanette, the letters of daddies and mamas that how can we help you?
I vote you just, well, one thing, just
oh, shoot.
bill us.
Yeah,
Our publisher
keep
will
track
take
of
the money
your
out of the
expenses.
account if we pay a bill.
One way to
Figure that, you know, that's conditional if we
That's one way to
bring our
sting the
dues
game.
up. You know, don't you think that money should come out?
Is everybody anxious for them? Do you want to get them before you die?
No, well.
Yes. Before you get too old to care.
And that might be fast approaching.
I had this copied off.
It would be nice.
There were some really
Oh,
good. This will have to be folded, and then it can go in here. There's one for each
How
one.
much do we pay you for these?